you guys. Welcome back to Meaningful Motivations with Tracy Erickson. And of course, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Tracy Erickson, and this video is going to be all about the symbolic meaning or the spiritual message in the cricket. So stay tuned. This is yet another video about animals or insects as a spiritual message or some kind of omen in your life. So if you've been seeing crickets either in or around your home or somehow in your day-to-day life, or if you've been hearing crickets, whether or not they're actually there, or even if you've been dreaming of crickets, then you might want to think about what that might mean to you, symbolically speaking, because the language that your inner mind uses to communicate with you is the language of images. So when you see an image such as a cricket, or even hear it or sense its presence in one way or another, then that might actually be a message from spirit meant just for you. I don't know about you, but whenever I think of crickets, my first thought is Jiminy Crickets from that Disney movie, Pinocchio. And so a lot of you out there probably already know that in the movie Pinocchio, the angel who turns Pinocchio into a real boy actually assigns the task of conscience to the little cricket, Jiminy Cricket. And so Jiminy Cricket spends the whole movie trying to be the conscience for Pinocchio. And usually Pinocchio's just kind of being led by temptation and ignoring his conscience. But it's not until the end when Pinocchio decides to team up with his conscience that he is able to actually save the day. So in the end, when Pinocchio finally listens to the conscience, that's when he finally gets to become a real boy. It also just so happens that the name Jiminy Crickets was actually used as a different way for saying Jesus Christ. So if someone is frustrated and wanting to curse, instead of saying Jesus Christ, they would say Jiminy Crickets. So I found that to be quite interesting as well, that the name Jiminy Cricket, the conscience, is also associated with the name for the Christ consciousness. Just last week, as I was meditating, I began to hear crickets. And they were not physically in the room with me, but it was more of a spiritual sound. So I was actually hearing crickets, but that hearing was clairaudient hearing. So I was more using my spiritual ears than my physical ears. So as I was sitting in silence, the sounds of crickets began and just stayed with me for the remainder of my meditation time. So I find it rather interesting, though, that the cricket sound showed up during my meditation and prayer time, because some of the other symbolic spiritual meanings of the cricket include a heightening of your spiritual senses. It would represent a growing deepness of intuition. And it can also ask you to listen to your inner voice. The cricket as an omen or a spirit message for you can also represent like an activation of your spiritual centers within your physical body. So it's like awakening a certain spirituality within you. Maybe even awakening JC, right? The Christ consciousness. The spiritual meaning of hearing the cricket is telling you that your spiritual ears are working perfectly. So if you hear the cricket without the cricket physically being present, then that is a sign that your inner ears are working. It is also widely believed that if you hear crickets in your home, then that is a sign that some kind of massive change is coming. Some people believe that hearing crickets in the home means that a death is coming, but death really is symbolic for a huge change. So it's the end of one cycle and the beginning of the next cycle. So I don't really see a cricket in the home as an omen or sign that death per se is coming, but definitely a sign that there is a big change on the horizon. That's another reason I kind of find it interesting that Jiminy Crickets was inside of Geppetto's home on the very night that the angel came down to give Pinocchio life, because that was definitely a huge change on the horizon. And another message coming from the cricket is telling you to stop being distracted and to start focusing more on your goals. Again, similar to Jiminy Cricket, because if only Pinocchio would have followed Jiminy Cricket's advice to stop getting distracted by the temptation, then he wouldn't have ended up as a prisoner on Pleasure Island. But of course, since he ignored his own conscience, temptation was able to sweep him away. So the symbolic meaning behind a cricket, behind seeing crickets, dreaming of crickets, or even just hearing crickets, is all about following your inner voice, to sit in silence and let that voice speak to you from time to time. It's all about staying focused and not getting distracted from your goals. It's about deepening your intuition and understanding that you have good luck, abundance, and prosperity. And it's all waiting for you if only you can follow your inner guidance. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. So if you like this video, be sure to click that like button and share this video with all your friends out there. And of course, if you're a viewer but not yet a subscriber, I'm inviting you now to click subscribe down below. And once you have subscribed, you can turn on that notifications bell if you would like to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching and spending your time with me. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.